The food sanitation law has been revised and the HACCP-based food hygiene system has become mandatory as of June 1, 2021. So, those who operate food-related businesses need to implement the HACCP-based food hygiene system. In this video, I will explain what exactly you all need to do, using a small-scale restaurant as an example. Some people may not know what to do to implement the HACCP-based food hygiene system. So, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government has created the Food Hygiene Control File to assist small-scale restaurants. From here, I will explain about using the Food Hygiene Control File. The Food Hygiene Control File is divided into two parts, a Hygiene Control Plan and Record Sheet. Please have both at hand. The Food Hygiene Control File can be downloaded from the Tokyo Metropolitan Government's website. The link to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government's website can be found in the YouTube description box. The Food Hygiene Control File can also be picked up at public health centers. See page 2 of the Hygiene Control Plan of the Food Hygiene Control File. How to use the Food Hygiene Control File. The first thing to do is to know the risks. The next step is to create a hygiene control plan. The hygiene control plan includes good hygiene practices and critical control points. The next step is to implement the hygiene control plan. Explain the hygiene control plan to employees and ask them to follow it. Then, record on the record sheet what has been done. Finally, review it. Then, go back to create a hygiene control plan and revise the hygiene control plan as necessary. Now, we will explain these steps in order. The first step is to know the risks. This is to understand the factors that lead to incidents such as food poisoning. The reason why it is necessary to understand the factors that lead to incidents is that countermeasures differ depending on the factors. For example, is the factor a microorganism, a chemical substance, or a foreign substance? If it is a microorganism, what kind of microorganism? Is it a bacterium such as Salmonella, a parasite such as Anisakis, or a virus such as norovirus? Without knowing such things, it is impossible to take appropriate countermeasures. See page 3. This table is an example of the risks involved in serving food. The leftmost column contains the ingredients or food groups, the middle column contains the major hazards associated with that food, and the rightmost column is the hazard control methods. As an example, consider the case of curry. A cooked food such as curry is at risk of food poisoning caused by Clostridium perfringens. How can we control the bacterium? If the curry is not to be eaten immediately, it should be promptly cooled and stored in the refrigerator, and it should be thoroughly heated just before serving. This will ensure that the curry is safe to eat. Next, create a hygiene control plan. This is to establish procedures to eliminate factors that could lead to incidents such as food poisoning. The plan includes good hygiene practices and critical control points. Good hygiene practices is the basic hygiene control that is implemented throughout the entire food handling process. Critical control points are those that require special attention in the food preparation and serving processes. Let's start with good hygiene practices. Look at pages 4 and 5 of the Food Hygiene Control File. These 7 items are good hygiene practices. For each of these items, we produce a plan for when to conduct, how to conduct, and what to do when an issue is found. Let's look at them in order. The first item is check ingredients at receipt. The reason why this item is necessary is because there is a possibility that harmful microorganisms may be growing on food which is spoiled, which has torn packaging, which is past the expiration date, or ingredients which have not been stored properly. Check off what you are doing in relation to when to conduct, how to conduct, and what to do when an issue is found. If what you are doing isn't written, check other and write what you are doing specifically. Importantly, when you create such a plan and ask your employees to follow it, be sure to explain to them why these items are necessary. Otherwise, they may just implement what is written and overlook any problems that may arise. The second item is check the temperature in the refrigerator and/or the freezer. As before, check the boxes for when to conduct, how to conduct, and what to do when an issue is found. Importantly, be sure to explain to your employees why this item needs to be done. The third item is prevent cross-contamination or secondary contamination. Importantly, be sure to understand why this item needs to be done. For example, the third square in the How to Conduct section reads, check storage in the refrigerator. The reason this is necessary is that there are bacteria in meat and fish drippings, and the drippings can contaminate other foods and the inside of the refrigerator. So, raw meat and seafood should be stored in a container with a lid and stored in the lowest level of the refrigerator. The fourth item is wash and sanitize utensils. As before, check the boxes for when to conduct, how to conduct, and what to do when an issue is found. The fifth item is clean and disinfect toilets. Toilets are the most likely place to be contaminated by a variety of harmful microorganisms, including norovirus and pathogenic E. coli. Food can be contaminated through the hands of employees who use the restrooms. So, wear purpose work clothes and gloves to clean and disinfect toilets. In particular, carefully disinfect toilet seats, flush levers, handrails, and doorknobs. The sixth item is personal hygiene, wearing clean work clothes, etc. If a person in charge of food preparation has diarrhea, there is a risk of food poisoning via his or her hands. In addition, if workers have cuts on their fingers, wear soiled work clothes, or forget to remove rings or other ornaments, they may contaminate food with harmful microorganisms or cause contamination by foreign objects. The seventh item is conduct hygienic hand washing. About 80% of food poisoning caused by norovirus originates from food preparation workers. In addition, even if an employee is infected with norovirus, he or she may not show any symptoms. So, wash your hands thoroughly on a regular basis to avoid contaminating food. Also, wearing disposable gloves does not always mean that it is safe. Wearing gloves without washing your hands can contaminate the gloves themselves. The shiny area in the photo is the contaminated area. Wash your hands thoroughly even before wearing gloves. The last page of the food hygiene control file contains various manuals. Please follow these manuals when washing hands, checking the health of workers, and disinfecting cooking utensils, toilets, etc. Next, look at the bottom of page 5. Up to this point, we have explained the 7 items of good hygiene practices. However, for some facilities, the hygiene control items listed here may also be important. So, these items should be entered in the additional items, if necessary. For example, control of rodents and insects should be described in this way. Next, we will look at critical control points. First, we will explain the dangerous temperature range. Look at the bottom of page 3. Dangerous temperature range refers to the temperature range of 10 to 60 degrees Celsius. If food is left in the dangerous temperature range, bacteria on the food will multiply. However, even in this dangerous temperature range, there is no danger of bacteria multiplying to harmful levels if the food is only left out for a short time. For that reason, the time the food remains in the dangerous temperature range should be kept as short as possible. So, categorize your menu items based on the temperature at which the food is being prepared. See pages 6 and 7. Categorize the menu items served at your restaurant into 3 groups, as shown here. The first group is foods that are unheated or refrigerated items served cold. Examples include sashimi, salads, etc. The second group are those that are served immediately after heating, or foods that are served after being heated and stored at high temperatures. Examples include steaks, fried foods, and stir-fried foods. The third group consists of items that are served after heating, cooling, and reheating, and items that are served after heating and cooling. Examples include curry, char siu pork or Chinese barbecue pork, and potato salad. Let's take a closer look at these groups. Let's start with the first group. Write down the typical menu offered at your facility and decide control methods. The first group is unheated items and refrigerated items served cold. The first group is characterized by the absence of a heating process, which makes it impossible to kill harmful microorganisms attached to the food. So, it is important to take measures such as preventing microbial contamination during the cooking process and storing the food in a refrigerator to prevent the growth of microorganisms. For example, in the case of salads, measures include washing vegetables thoroughly, washing hands thoroughly before serving, wearing gloves when serving and avoiding touching with bare hands, and serving salads as soon as they are taken out of the refrigerator. Next is the second group, items served immediately after heating. This group is given the chance to kill microorganisms because of the heating process. So, it is important to confirm that it has been heated properly. In advance, check heat level and cooking time and appearance of the food when the center of the food is sufficiently heated. Then, in daily cooking, be sure to judge by the heat level and cooking time and judge by appearance, including the color of meat juice and the feel, including the elasticity. Next is the second group, items that are served after being heated and stored at high temperatures. The difference from the previous case is that after the food is heated, it is left for a certain period of time before being served. So, the first step is to confirm that it was heated properly. Then, after heating, the food must be kept at a high temperature to prevent any surviving microorganisms from multiplying again. Next is the third group, items served after heating, cooling, and reheating. This group includes curry and stew. Ways to check if food is cooked and reheated properly is the same as for the second group. It is important to make sure that the food does not remain in the dangerous temperature range for a long time after heating and during the cooling stage. So, it is necessary to cool the food promptly by, for example, dividing the food into small containers. Finally, the third group, items that are served after heating and cooling. This group includes the process of heating, so make sure the food has been properly heated. Next, the cooling process ensures that the food is not left in the dangerous temperature range for an extended period of time. Since there is no reheating process, it is important to take care not to contaminate the food with your fingers when serving. Next, look at the bottom of page 7. Decide how to respond to issues. An issue is when heating, storage temperatures, or food handling is not carried out as planned. For example, if you forget to check with a food thermometer while heating roast pork, put a check by reheat. With these steps, you have created your hygiene control plan. Next, you should explain the plan to your employees and have them follow the plan. Do not forget to report any issues to a supervisor. Once you have carried out the plan as planned, record the results in the record sheet. The food hygiene control file has a calendar-style record sheet like this one. If there were no issues, put a circle or record-specific temperatures. If there was an issue, put a cross. Then, in the special notes section, you should describe what happened and how it was handled. Keep this record for about 1 year. If you are asked to show the food hygiene control file by a health center official, please be ready to present it immediately. Lastly is the review. It is important to look back at your records regularly. A supervisor should check the records once a month. When the records have been checked, the checkbox for supervisor is signed in the upper right corner of the record sheet. If similar problems or complaints are occurring repeatedly, there may be a problem with the plan itself. The plan should also be reviewed when food ingredients change or when new menu items are added. It is important to continually improve the plan. A supervisor conducts a monthly review of the records. One additional sheet is used for the review. Complaints, sanitation concerns, and similar problems that occur repeatedly may be due to the same factors and should be addressed. If you hire a new employee, explain and train them on the hygiene control plan and keep a record of what they have been trained on. Review the hygiene control plan when menus or ingredients are changed, when suppliers are changed, or when there is a change in equipment or utensils. Write the results of the monthly review on the sheet. For example, if you hired a new employee in April, check Yes for April in question 3. Then, on the back of the sheet, write the details in 3. Record of training when employees change. That concludes this video. After watching this video, I am confident that you will be able to properly implement the HACCP-based food hygiene system.